and he saw a pistol, and he was thinking like any white boy, the only way these niggas get this much money, this nigga is driving a brand new Cadillac. Nobody has these except one or two rich white folks. And the niggas has got them wrong. Something they robbed a bank, they stole something. So anyway, so the white boy called the police in the gas station, and we was just driving through town. And they pulled us over. And they was dumb white folks too. I mean, because the police, I thought, with cowboy boots on, I said, I want to see a judge. He said, I'm the judge. I said, well, me and my homeboy looked at each other and said, we gonna lose this time. Because technically, this is one of the first cases we ever got where we're actually in the wrong. I mean, anybody driving down the street with snowflakes all over their face and all on their suit, you know what I mean, and everything. And the police looked at my arms. You know, I was a weightlifter, and he saw these. These are stretch marks. He said, yep. He thought they was tracks, you know, from shooting. These are stretch marks. These are health stretch marks. You know, you lift iron so much, you get so big so fast. It's like a woman get pregnant. She usually gets some stretch marks on her stomach. What niggas, much iron as we was driving in those days, we'd get stretch marks. So he looked at my arms, and we looked at him, me and our friend looked at each other. I said, these white folks are so dumb. Then, this is the Merced County Jail. And then we going into the county jail, and we hear a voice, hey man, how y'all, what's going on? It was a guy called Bug Simpson. We hadn't seen him in years. And that's where he was, stuck, you know, where you can holler from one place to the other. Man, how long you been here? He'd been in the county jail in this little town out of the big city and he was there so long we had almost forgot about him. And then me and my partner looked at each other again. We said, boy, look at here. We in deep SHIT now, I'm telling you. Because this is not a setup. This is actually, in court, you'd have a hard time beating it. Because of the white boy and the guy. Anyway, long story. But guess what? So we called our lawyer, and the lawyer came down. He was driving the Cadillac too. I called my family, my wife came down with my kids. She was driving a big, pretty Cadillac too. So you could imagine how mad these white folks. This is a country town in California. Everybody here, they drive Fords if they're lucky. You know what I mean? They're dirt farmers and everything. I mean, it's just like Dixie used to be down there. You got to drive through that part of California. It's not modern, up-to-date California like now. That was Dixie, California. Anyway, that's how Allah works it. So the lawyer come down and he said, after he checked on everything, and we went to court. Before the lawyer got there, they had guns on her. I said, man, you pointing guns at my family, you handcuffed and can't do nothing. What's wrong with y'all, you know? Well, they figure these are niggas, and they all got Cadillacs, so something's wrong with them. Anyway, they charged us with heroin possession and marijuana possession. Now, I was a big smoke dealer, but I had bought a couple of bricks from some white boys the week before. And I said to myself, this don't even look like no weed. But they had been good suppliers, so I just took them. And then when you driving, got all kind of stuff going on and blow and going on, well, who knows the different tastes of marijuana? So you didn't roll it up. It so happens, this goes back to, have I been looking out for you all along? You know, so now it turns out that the white boys had just must have found some bushes and pulled them off. They looked like marijuana. And they pressed them in a brick, you know, like they sold weed in those days. And they said, because the white boy was looking at the other one when he sold it to me, and he said, I told you. So he was saying, this nigga don't know. This is the biggest weed dealer in California almost, but he don't know nothing about no marijuana. And I was probably high and everything. I just looked at it. How much you want? We want some of it. So I bought it. It just so happens that it was not marijuana. And the dumb white folks, they could have did another thing. They tested the cocaine for heroin. Got this. It's cocaine. They didn't charge me with heroin and marijuana. My lawyer said, well, what did y'all have? Because they had to let us go scot-free. From then on, I got the Holy Ghost almost. I'm telling you, the marijuana was not marijuana. So they tested the bushes the white boy gave me. Suppose I would have told the white boy, man, that ain't no smoke. I got enough sense to know, and I knew it wasn't no smoke. Well, who cares? For some reason, I took it. So when they tested the marijuana, it comes out not marijuana. And they tested the cocaine for heroin. Whole different test, right? So these dummies, this is the country, they don't know the difference in those days from, all they know is I got tracked, so it must be heroin, stretch marks. So my lawyer asked, well, what did y'all have, bunk or something? Well, the marijuana was bunk, but the cocaine was the best blow in California. And that's against the law too, 11,500. That's, but I'm getting to this point. Didn't I look out for you all along? You know, didn't I have you covered? This didn't just start. I've been looking out for you all along the way. Now, here you are in my service. That's why we feel so fired up about Islam. We call it full plate ahead. Whatever's on our plate, you know, full speed. Full plate ahead. We're ready to go. There's another thing that we've been dealing with for a long time. Archivist, historian, chroniclers, and documentalist. Although, have you seen any of those Chinese programs on?
Yeah, I think I caught one of them. Not all of them.
But did you get the one on the great historian?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I caught that
No,
one.
no. That was a good one. That was a good one. All of that verifies what we've been dealing with all along. How important, but go back 10 years ago, 15 years ago, who was talking about archivism, historicizing? That somebody has to historicize and chronicleize, right, and document all the things that's been going on amongst us. And when you watch those programs, some of them from China, maybe a couple of thousand years ago, you can realize the value of keeping a record of certain periods of time. We have so well documented this period, it's been overwhelming. Written documentation and redundancy. If we give out every 10th or 15th CD, it makes no difference because somebody will have a whole package of information, right? About the stage we're in, about the period about what we've been dealing with. So we realized a long time ago, Boss Man was trying to figure out, we might be thinking we got to lead our movement and we got to do this, and you're looking at it a different way. Somebody has to archive this stuff. Our movement at this time is this: archivism, historicizing, being a chronicler, documenting all of this stuff. Why do you think we document? They can't do anything about it. Even if we duplicate 10 of each of these right here, and we distribute 8 or 10 of them, and there's only 1 or 2 left from the people, it's fine. You done left a record. You done left a record. Of course, we do more. If we take all the CDs and DVDs we've distributed over the years, and you can go along and you can collect 10 of them from this person, although we've distributed hundreds. A few over there, a few from there. And then remember, Boss Man don't know. He know who he got with you, and he know who you giving a lot of them to, but he don't know everybody, right? He don't know everybody, and everybody is not the police. Maybe 80, 90% is, but everybody ain't the police. Some of them will realize what they got their hands on. In other words, we've thought about what we're doing. Archivists, historicizing, chronicle documentalists. So we're functionalizers in this Islamic movement. Activators. Boss Man was thinking that we would think our job at this time would be to collect a group of people together to raise the great Islamic movement and da-da-da-da-da-da-da. As usual, Boss Man in those days and Boss Man now is the same. Boss Man a few years ago was stupid, and you can see his stupidity. Not only you and I see it, the world is making, Boss Man is making decisions and doing stuff that have people, what is he doing? And we saying, well, we making him do it because we said years ago, before this was apparent to everybody, we claiming some of the credit that we gonna say, Boss Man, we made a fool out of you, and it's the reason you acting fool, we know it's not, but it don't make no difference. That's selling wolf tickets. Boss Man, we slapping you upside the head with truth so much that you getting delirious. Incoherent. We use words like discombobulating. We gonna discombobulate yourself. Okay, now Boss Man don't know the difference between, since he don't believe in Allah, and all he hear talking is trash is us. He don't believe in no supreme being. That nigga is doing it. That's what he thinks. Yes, he do. It's okay. It's okay. That's why we open up, we let you know we praising Allah on and on and on, and we ain't never going to open up at this period. When we talking this kind of trash, we're going to make sure everybody understand that we know who got us here. And that it's Allah, all the stuff that you do, it seemed like miraculous, Allah hooked you up. And if you wanted your behind to be rescued, it was Allah rescued you in 1970. It was Allah rescued you in times when you didn't think it was. Maybe it was in prison riots and stuff like that, when you're supposed to go home next month and you got to stay another year. And during that next year, you get a whole bunch of information that you would have never had before. And that the white man might have thought, we're going to mislead this Negro by sending some of our snitches to get him involved in selling dope. And it's true, they do. The only thing is, you become successful. And in becoming successful, you do exactly the same thing Martin Luther King was trying to do, but he couldn't do it. A black economic enterprise zone. That's what he was in Chicago for in 1968. Well, the same year, we was doing the same thing in Oakland, California. The Black Panthers was shooting up everything, or they're getting shot up, and